Alright, sorry about that. Hopefully you all can hear me now.
I think we should be good to go there, Al.
Alright, excellent. So, okay, now, where were we? Okay, welcome to round 4 of the North American Grand Prix GT2 Championship, coming to you live from the A1 ring in Austria. It's raining here in practice, and I know Brad was speaking earlier, but I want to welcome him again here to the booth with me. Brad, who picked up the slack for me while I was away for the last few weeks, and Brad, thank you for that, and excited to be back here.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Al. Happy to try to carry on the torch for you. Unfortunately, some of our pictures got interrupted here. There are our last couple races, and we did have to kind of detune the pictures that we did bring in to make sure it ran smoothly without the super computing power, but we did at least get a few in there, and for the viewers that we have had, it's been some seriously exciting Season 20 GT2 action. So I hope everybody's been able to follow their favorite drivers here, and we've got more of it tonight.
Well, this is a great track, A1 ring, formerly known as the Österreich ring, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. At one time it was a much larger layout, but cut it back, and now I believe it's known as a Red Bull ring. But we're running the A1 version here tonight, and I'll tell you what, this is personally one of my favorite tracks to race, and high speed, total of 8 corners.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of a tough infield, middle section of the track, sector 2. Requires some downforce. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see some guys running pretty low wing around here, I'd suspect, but kind of middle of the road in terms of aerodynamic setup.
Yeah, more or less a power track around this place, and almost kind of a pure power track, really. Some of the lower power cars will struggle a little bit around here on total lap pace. However, they can do a little bit of damage there in that second sector. The most important sector around this place is really the third sector. It consists only of 2 turns, but there are a couple pretty darn important turns, especially if you are in one of those power cars. You really need to take advantage of the best cornering speed you can get to blast down some of these long straights. Also, it should be noted in that third sector is the tricky pit entrance to this track as well. So that could also figure in to how these guys finish up here overall.
Well, you're certainly right. That final corner is tricky, both pitting in and getting through there quickly. You want to, as you see Johnny Lugnet's going through there right now, but you want to stay as close to its apex as possible. But you know, it's very easy to catch that inside wall, and it's not forgiving at all. So
yeah, that's right, Al. Walls typically are not.
Should mention that this track, these first 3 corners are going to be interesting in this race. Generally, you see some action in turn 1, turn 2 not so much, but turn 3 we've noticed we've seen some offs in the past, as well as cold tires. Guys carrying a lot of speed into those corners can lend itself to some hair-raising moments, but hopefully we don't see any of that tonight, and the guys exhibit a little bit of caution going through those first couple laps.
Yeah, that would be good. Turn 1 can be problematic. Turn 2 and 3, like you say, as well. Turn 2 is interesting. It provides a lot of overtaking opportunities down this long straight, and some drafting, whatnot, and so forth. It's very difficult for 2 cars to get through there side by side, and I think guys understand that. So it seems like there's a bit more quarter given in that in that second corner. So hopefully the guys will take them all clean here tonight. There's no reason to think they wouldn't, and we'll look forward to a good race after that. There's some guys up toward the top of the timesheets here we haven't have a chance to talk about too often, or consistently anyway, so we'll see if some of those guys can maintain that pace over the course of this race as well.
Yeah, Alex Scott looking very racy here tonight in the Jag. Chris Moses currently leading the timesheets here in practice, the only person in the 29s. Kevin Miller as well in the Viper. Expect to see Rich Roman up there. He was looking pretty good in practice. So we're just waiting here a few moments before we move over to qualifying. But touching back on last week's race, Brad, did a fine job on your own. I watched it from the hotel room, but Alex White, dominating performance, getting pole, fast laps led, and ultimately winning the race and getting maximum points last week after a tough start to the season for him.
It was an interesting Oran Park race for sure. I think looking through the field, and like you say, it had a good front row seat for all that action. And it seemed to me Alex White was really the only guy who was able to figure out how to really be able to push for speed on that very dangerous Oran Park track. So yeah, he was one that ultimately came through, garnering all those points for his GT2 effort. But it should be noted, Aaron Parsons had a great run back up after some early trouble in that as well. And Brian Mongrain came through with a fantastic third place finish there to round off that podium. So congratulations to all those three guys.
As Esteban leads the field out for qualifying, I should mention that GT2 standings as we speak here in Season 20. Andres Prieto leading the way with 55 points. Chris Moses is in second with 45. And we have a three-way tie for third, as Marty Uran, Aaron Parsons, and David Poole all share the third spot with 38 points. In the team championship, Team Columbia, that's Andres Prieto and Juan Monroy there leading the way with 71. Chow Mein Moto, that's Esteban and Mikey Monahan, 4 points back with 67 points. They're in second. 05 Motorsports in third with 64 points. Kung Fu Racing, Ian Jolicoeur and Marty Uran, they're in fourth with 59. And Precision Motor Racing, Gup Douglas and Chris Moses in fifth with 48 points. So let's ride along with Esty as he leads us off here in qualifying. The vet should be pretty decent around this track.
Yeah, I should think so, Al. There's not going to be anything wrong with that Corvette here at all. And you mentioned that Chow Mein Moto squad that Esteban is a part of, and you know they have shown pretty good speed here at this track as well. Both Esteban Palacio and Mike Monahan putting up very fine practice times, so they're looking to be in a pretty good spot here tonight.
Esteban leading taking the Viper, the Vet, down into turn 3. And probably coming up onto the most critical part of the track here. These two left-hand sweepers really want to carry a lot of speed after this, in the second part of this section here. Lead you down into the final part of the tracks.
Yeah, coming up on the third sector here, Al, another real critical sector. Blind entry coming up to the first corner in this sector. And some guys will be taking a lot of curbs, some guys not so much. At this last corner, real critical to get right. You see Esteban right on that inside curbing there, and really looking to get on the power as fast as possible, but easy to go wide if you stop on that gas a little too early.
So Moses, Palacio slips into second. Moses to P1 with a 30.1. Let's see Alex Scott. Scott to P3. Immediately falls back to fourth, I believe. Brian, actually no, that was David Poole, I believe, took that fourth spot. As time's beginning to drop here. Gup Douglas currently in P3. So Gup showing some speed early on here in qualifying.
Yeah, well, we saw the pace of teammate Chris Moses, so it figures that Gub Douglas would also be putting in some pretty good times here as well in that Ford.
On board with Andres Prieto, currently in P1 in the Audi.
Audi should be strong around here as well. We know Andres Prieto is pretty fast behind the wheel. I think one of our storylines here in qualifying one, sorry Al, real quickly, you know, Alex Scott has a perfect pole position qualifying record here yet this season. So Alex White, I think, is going to have to overcome a really speedy Chris Moses, but if he wants to keep that intact, he's going to have to put in a great lap here tonight.
Well, White certainly carrying a bit of weight heading into tonight's event, so we'll have to wait and see how that affects him in qualifying. We've noticed last season he really performed quite well with weight on his car, but the Gumpert's a different animal than what he was running last season, so we'll see how he does. As Marty coming up on slower car up ahead, so that's going to ruin his lap.
Boy, there's going to be all kinds of traffic for these guys to deal with in this qualifying session, so patience is going to be the order of the day. Ooh. You may only get a chance to get one or two really clean laps in here, Al.
On board with Alex Scott. He's up over a 10th in Sector 1, currently in P2. Part of the track where this Jaguar is going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, it is about the only part of the track, though, Al. Basically, just a couple corners.
Ooh, and a bit of a slide there for Scott is going to cost him some time. And it did.
You know, I had the opportunity to...
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Al. I had the opportunity to get a few laps in this Jag, actually, and the quick way around was actually getting that nice power slide just right in that thing around those corners, I noticed. For me anyway, Alex Scott did seem to motor that machine around here pretty well, though.
So Scott does not improve. Currently P3 as Alex White jumps up to P2 with the 29.6. David Poole in the Ferrari currently in third. He's going to park it. Kevin Miller was looking very quick, currently a P9 in the Viper.
Yeah, indeed, Alan. It could very well have been qualifying times we were seeing out of Kevin Miller there in our practice session. However, still very impressive time. So, great shot for Kevin Miller here tonight.
Slowed up a bit as had a car go off there, and one of the Moslers slowed him up a bit, but Kevin's going to keep on trucking here.
Yeah, slowed him up a bit, but still only 1/10 off of his best time so far.
Sam Rolfe in the Panos, currently running P11. See how he does here leading up to the second split. Behind over a second.
Well, one thing's for sure, no matter how this shakes out, who comes away with the pole position here tonight, you can expect these times to be very close. Maybe not the first or second cars there toward the front, but these times will all be very close, and just tenths of a second can pick you up 5, 6, maybe 7 spots by the end of this thing.
So Rolfe does not improve. Brian Mongrain, 05 Motorsport. 3/10 off in Sector 1. Mongrain had a good start to the race last week at Orem Park, if I recall.
Indeed he did, Al, and of course held on to that held on to that good position early all the way to the end. I can give you a quick update out. Kevin Miller has improved his time slightly to a 1 minute 30 flat, now currently 8th.
So good to see Kevin Miller tossing that Viper around here. Put some speed. So Mongrain loses a bunch of time in the middle sector, so he's behind nearly a second. Ooh, with a giant slide into turn 7, into the final corner.
You know, one thing we hadn't talked about in relation to this track, as we see Brian Mongrain finish off this lap, one thing we haven't talked about much is are some of the bumps around this place. Some of these braking zones and mid-corner bumps around this place, including the curbing, will upset some of these cars, and the Ferraris a bit more so than others as well. So some of the Ferrari guys will be having some setup adjustments and careful throttle control, I should think, over some of these acceleration zones.
Ooh, so Roman gets into the back of one of the Astons. I'm not sure. Looks like that Aston was on an outlap, and looks like he was a little bit asleep there, unfortunately for Roman, but he's going to try it again. That's frustrating for sure.
Yeah, it is, and Roman's sitting back there in currently P15 now with about half our qualifying session gone, so I don't think he's gotten in a lap yet. Maybe he's getting a little anxious to get one in.
Marco Conti, currently P16. He's only half a second back in Sector 2. He's got a decent lap going for himself. Marco in the Aston. Got a nice toe off that Ford. Either Houston or Parsons, but this is going to help him out.
Nice and clean through that last corner. Didn't do any damage.
Stay on. So Connie looking quite racy here. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Chris Moses currently leading the way with a 29.2. Ooh, Alex White just surpasses that. So much for that talk about weight. Doesn't appear to be affecting his speed none whatsoever, as White jumps the provisional pole here with about 13.5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, and it is 30 kilograms Alex White is carrying around for that race win last week. 30 kilos not going to be a huge disadvantage, certainly a bit, but I suspect Chris Moses will have an answer here if he can get a few clean laps in.
Further back, Juan Monroy currently in P5. So Monroy, part of Team Columbia, doing his job.
A quick update there, Al, at the front. Chris Moses has indeed rejumped Alex White.
So Chris Moses amongst some traffic. He is the only man in the 28s. Just want to Rally. Are you watching right now, Dave Rally? Did you win 2 tickets to a WEC race? Follow WEC on Facebook, and I noticed today that they were giving away tickets to the 8 hours of something, and I saw his name, Dave Rally. Congratulations, you won 2 tickets. So I just wanted to make sure it was him or not. I don't know many Dave Rallies out there.
Well, if it is that particular David Rally, then yeah, indeed, congratulations. That'll be a good time.
Mikey Monahan getting back to the racing here. Mikey Monahan currently in P11. His teammates up a few spots ahead in P6. So Mikey and Esteban both putting in good work here. Mikey undoubtedly would like to get up there in the top 10, but tell you what, both these guys have been racing quite well this season, being consistent. That's what they need to do to win that team title. I know that's their primary target right now. So.
Boy, it was a great effort last week there at Oran Park. Mike Monahan did eventually actually finish ahead of teammate Esteban Palacio, who was out front there in the early part of that race, but both came back to finish very strong. They're in a good position, and it has to be said actually that they are in a good position relative to Team Columbia here on the timing and scoring so far in this race. We'll see how it shakes out and the race as well, but it's going to be an exciting event for the team classification as well.
So Monahan improves to P9, so nice final sector for Mikey. Get further back, Kevin Miller's dropped a few positions back. He's now in 13th. Aaron Parsons, very surprised to see him languishing back in P14.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping an eye on that Matek Ford of Aaron Parsons, and for whatever reason, he's just, like you say, not quite up to speed yet. Aaron is carrying 30 kilograms around as well. However, I wouldn't think that would hamper him to the tune of P14 at this point.
Still just under 10 minutes to go here, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see him find the right line and throw that car up near the front. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a couple of our leaders actually have gotten quite a few clean laps. It can be very difficult around tracks like this, though, to find those good clean laps, and I'm sure some of these guys are still struggling with that a little bit. Rich Roman and Aaron Parsons being just a couple.
Meanwhile, Christian Hamilton back in 15th. Greg Myers 16th. John Houston, Aaron's teammate, he's back at 17th. Sam Rose falling back to 18th. Rich Roman now at 19th. So Rich, struggles continue. Let's see how he ends up this, finishes up this final, this lap. A bit surprised to see him that far back.
Well, that's definitely a race pace for Rich Roman. We saw him turning better times than that in practice over the course of the week, so he definitely has more pace in that Viper. We'll see if he gets it sorted here. Only 8:45 left to go here, Al.
So Roman does not improve. Rodrigo Triana, P20. Cup Douglas back in 21st. Tom Schubeck, Roman's teammate. Panzer Faust Racing, currently in P22. Jared Keane in 23rd. A little surprised to see Jared back in 23rd. Looks like Aaron's having some trouble exiting the pit lane. Jaime Moore, 24th. Brian Story, currently P25. Randy Chenoweth in that Mercedes running 26th. Lou Mascarelli, 27th. Johnny McIntyre. John taking part in some GT2. Nice to see. He's running at 28th. Phil Hooks. Currently running at 29th. Mike Great Tricks back in 30th. A little surprised to see Mike back there. Yeah,
Mike is starting to show some flashes of some great speed, but not so much here tonight.
Dan Wilkinson running in 31st. Chuck Carter currently 32nd. Ken Rodriguez making his debut here at NAGP, running the Mosler. Currently running in P33. And Chris Jackson 34th. Jack Ivey, John Wathen, and Johnny Lugnuts serving no calls.
Yeah, going back quickly to our newcomer Ken Rodriguez, had the opportunity to get a few recon laps in that Mosler, and you know it felt pretty good around here, Al. So
Moses continues to lead with a 28.9 and Alex White's about a 10th off that pace. So White just picking him up, just started a hot lap here. As we wind down in qualifying as one of the Panos Esperantes, testing the limits of the tire barrier.
Well, it's coming down to it now. Boy, those guys that haven't quite got their best laps in, still searching for some clean track. It's getting a little anxious time for them. I'm watching Rich Roman at the moment here, sitting P20th at the moment, just coming around to start a hot lap.
So Alex White was nearly half a second off. Whoa, and he made a ton of time up in that final sector. Holy smokes. But still not enough to take pole. He remains in P2. Chris Moses just passed the split time, didn't catch it, but we'll ride along with him here. See if he's able to improve. Chris behind a little bit in that second split. Talking to Chris yesterday about the setup for tonight's race. He was mentioned that he does not improve. He mentioned his qualifying setup's a lot looser than his race setup. I believe his race setup's a lot more conservative. So we'll see how that translates going forward.
Well, it'd be a good idea. You know, another thing we haven't mentioned around here is that the chance for inclement weather is extremely high around this circuit. So,
and White to provisional pole. Sorry to interrupt. But
that's okay, Al.
But White takes pole by 0.08 of a second. Got a nice toe off Roman at the final exit of that turn 8. So no doubt Moses seeing that time flip on his screen.
Yeah, and you mentioned that toe from Rich Roman. Rich finally did get a lap in, currently sitting P6.
Chris up big in sector 2, so let's see if he can keep it together here in these final couple corners. Up to
Alex White was definitely Alex White was definitely the quicker through this sector, so let's see how much of this Chris can hang on to.
Ooh, and he takes it by 0.08 of a second again. We got just under 3 minutes to go. Palacio has now jumped up to P3, and Alex White immediately takes to the track.
Yeah, and a great run for Esteban there in third place. Marty Urin also has jumped up there in the P4, so he has jumped up here as well. Chris Moses really giving up some time in that third sector, so he'll want to get that sorted in case Alex can find some more speed in those first 2 sectors. They're only going to get one more lap in, Al.
It's Palacio behind nearly half a second in sector 1. Let's see how SD handles turns 5 and 6. Sorry, 4 and 5.
There's so many of them, it's keep track, Al.
I know. Okay, he's lost quite a bit. Monroy finishing up a lap. He's got one of the Lambos up ahead. It's not going to help him out. In fact, it's going to slow him down quite a bit. Ooh, Monroy. Wow. Got it all wrong in that final corner.
Chris Moses has escaped back to the pits. Chris Moses is done. It's going to be down to Alex White here. Alex White was 3/10 off through the first sector.
Yeah, I noticed that. That final sector for White has been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that he's going to be able to improve to the tune of 0.3 of a second, Al, but I suppose if anybody can, Alex White definitely wants to keep that pole streak alive.
Lost about a tenth, but he was able to pick this up last time I caught him through here, so we'll see. May get some help from that Ferrari up ahead. I think it's going to be enough, though. Not going to happen. As time winds down, Palacio still hanging on to that third spot. Marty, you're in. Marty, way off. Parking lot there.
Yeah, and I've been kind of
not sure what's going on there, but Parsons up to 7th.
Yeah, Parsons, that was his last lap there, so that was a fortunate be able to get that in, and a good one it was.
See if Marco can get it in. I know the time's winding down. Close. Ooh, he got it in, but he did not improve. So, Chris Moses takes pole in dramatic fashion by 0.08 of a second over Alex White, the only two guys in the 28s. Palacio slips into P3 late with a 29.4, so great showing by him, and tremendous speed shown by these guys.
Yeah, in the end it was quite a squeaker for Chris Moses. I think he expected a bit more of a comfortable time with it for having that run at pole position, but in the end he came away with it, and I know that he had high hopes over the course of the week of practice. I think some of the guys that I find a little interesting in some of the other Fords, Juan Monroy, Aaron Parsons, and Andres Prieta, not showing the same type of speed. A few of those guys are carrying some winner's weight ballast, but still in all, not quite showing the same speed that Chris Moses has, nor Alex White, of course, as mentioned. And a great run for Esteban Palacio, though teammate Mike Monahan did end up 15th here on the grids. A little bit of work to do for Mike Monahan in the race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to cut Mikey some slack. I mean, it's only 0.5 separating 4th from 15th, so that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. But also, Ian Jolicoeur, a little surprised to see him that far back, way back in 13th.
Now, I was going to mention the same thing, and of course it's difficult for Ian to get all the practice he would like in for these races, and he just might not have put in a typical Ian effort here for qualifying tonight, but still got the whole race to come.
So there you have it. We got 39 guys scheduled to take part tonight. Another jam-packed grid here at in GT2. So while we got some time, I should mention that for tonight's race, if you want to follow your favorite driver, head on over to NorthAmericanGP.com and click on GT2 live timing there right at the top menu, and you can follow your favorite driver on track.
That's a great resource there, Al. And you know what? What else? It might not be a bad idea to stop by and check out some of the awesome T-shirts NAGP has on offer now. Some great deals on those things, from what I understand. So a good opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. Check out that live timing and grab a T-shirt.
I like the way you think, Brad. So you got your timing, and right below there on the right, you got your NAGP T-shirt. You can order it right off the site through PayPal. $20. We'll send it wherever you want. And it's Alex White ordered his right there. There you have it. He's looking sharp. And this guy, I don't know who he is, but he's good looking bastard. So he's sporting the NAGP shirt as well. So be sure to head on over to the store, pick up some shirts. We got medium, large, extra large, and 2X. $20, and impress your friends and family. All right, so back to the racing. So we have headed off to warm up. We got a 5-minute warm-up here while these guys practice their pit-ins and their starts and whatnot.
Yeah, 5 minutes worth of warm-up here for these guys. The weather is quite cool. About as we have seen it here recently at NAGP. Yeah, and of course that weather can move in at any point on these guys. And boy, I'm kind of seeing some problems there in the pits, possibly with some double garage here cars, and hopefully the grid's going to get sorted okay for these guys for the start.
Yeah, we should be okay. Crossing my fingers and toes, we should be all right for this one. But we should mention that the probability of rain here is quite high, so don't be surprised if you see the race start wet, or at some point during the race turn to rain. So we'll have to keep an eye on the temps and see how it pans out.
Yeah, another consideration with that is that this track can be very abusive on tires as well. So in some of those changeable conditions, it can be very difficult to keep those tires in good nick or to select the right compound there. So just yet another factor to consider here in our race tonight. This is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be a good one, Al.
So the maximum distance here is 39 laps. Our last running here was in season 15. Greg Myers taking the win in the Audi. It was an Audi R8 1.2. Went the full 39 laps. And well, it doesn't look like it's going to be an Audi night tonight, but we'll surely find out. While we have a little break, I'm going to step away for 1 second, Brad. I'll be right back.
Yep, you got it, Al. So while Al is stepping away, I'll also make mention of the fact that during that race that had Gregory Myers ended up winning was actually the home to our first fully commented race broadcast. We had run a few broadcasts before that, kind of test broadcast. If I remember correctly, it was here at that race that we had a full-on commented race broadcast. So had some good memories from that one. And we had a little bit of weather in that race as well. So if we remember correctly, we saw actually Gregory Myers and teammate Aaron Parsons at that point battling very hard right to the end. And Gregory Myers actually got the best of Aaron Parsons in that race to go on for that win. So congratulations to him. Gregory obviously knows his way around this place pretty well. He'll have to put in a very fine effort here tonight as he is qualified back in the middle of the pack, really, for this this grid here tonight. So we mentioned the T-shirts. We mentioned your live timing. So the only thing left to do is to get through the last minute and a half here warm-up and start off this round 4 of our Season 20 GT2 Championship. When we do get those green lights, once again, you saw it live here in qualifying. Chris Moses will lead them away from those lights with Alex White. I'm sure he's going to be hoping at least to be following close in pursuit, if not leading the way himself. So assuming we do get dry weather here tonight, you can expect some very close action all the way through this field. Traffic will become an issue before too long for these guys, as the shorter laps around here will cause those front runners to come up on some of the quote-unquote slower guys a little sooner. So traffic will become an issue here at this track, not too far into the event. And again, we'll have to watch those first couple 3 corners, and we'll be looking forward to seeing the field get through clean through those.
Well, I am back, Brad. Thank you. And you mentioned the traffic for lap cars. I suspect that it should be a little easier for these guys than it was last week at Orange Park.
Indeed, we do have a pretty short, tight track here, but you can't quite consider it a bull ring like we had last week. I thought it was a great race, and I think overall everybody did a great job last week there at Orange Park, and we had some great action and some nice clean overtakes too. So hopefully that'll continue. So we're just about to flip over the session here and set our grid. And no doubt more than a few of these guys are waiting with bated breath to take an eye on that weather and see what the weather gods come up with.
Well, Brad, I've been talking and I didn't realize my mic was muted, but I was saying that I was a big fan of the bull rings. That usually lends itself to some great racing and some tempers flaring post-race. But hey, that's the way it goes. So, off to the race here. Starting from pole, Chris Moses, second, Alex White, Esteban Palacio, third, Marty Uren, fourth, and Juan Monroy, fifth.
Rich Roman got in a late lap to start 6th. Aaron Parsons as well for 7th. Alex Scott will start 8th. Brian Mongrain, last week's 3rd place, starts 9th. Andres Prieto takes 10th.
David Poole, 11th. Kevin Miller, 12th. Ian Jolicoeur, 13th. Marco Conti, 14th. And Mike Monahan, 15th.
Christian Hamilton starts 16th. Gregory Myers in 17th. Thomas Schubeck is in 18th. John Houston starts 19th. And Sam Rolfe is in 20th.
Rodrigo Triana, 21st. Gup Douglas, 22nd. Jared Keane, 23rd. Brian Story, 24th. And Jaime Moore, 25th.
Mike Graytrick starts 26th. Daniel Wilkerson starts 27th. Randy Chenoweth starts 28th. Chuck Carter's in 29th. And Lou Mascarelli starts 30th.
John McIntyre, 31st. Phil Hooks, 32nd. Ken Rodriguez, 33rd. 34th. Chris Jackson and Salem Montgomery Jr., 35th.
David Rowley starts 36th, Jack Ivies in 37th, John Wathen starts 38th, Johnny Lugnutz is in 39th, and Felipe Triana will start 40th. Forty cars lined up on this grid here tonight, Al. Great stuff.
Unbelievable. Cars starting around the bend. So, Brad, if you were a gambling man, who would you put your money on tonight?
Just too tough to pick against Chris Moses. If he doesn't run into any trouble or we have some weird weather situation, Chris Moses takes it.
Well, the weather's great right now. We're about to go racing here for round 4 of NAGP's GT2 series here at A1 Ring. And we're underway. Chris Moses gets a great start. Looks like the rest of the field is off to a good start as well, as he leads the way into turn 1. Looks like it's Chris Moses being chased down by Alex White. Looks like Mongrey got cut up. Out back, he's fallen back to P40.
Didn't get a chance to see what happened there, Al. Don't know if it was contact or just a single spin, but other than that, the field looks pretty darn clean through these first couple corners.
They certainly do look clean. Everybody's looks like they're behaving themselves.
Quick update, Al. Mike Monahan has picked up a couple spots here, now running P13.
Looks like Monroy's gotten out ahead of Marty Urin for that 4th spot, so Juan making a charge here early on. Palacios hung on to that 3rd spot, but losing ground to the guys up ahead as White and Moses are starting to check out. Roman running in P6. Kevin Miller looking good, running in P12 at the moment with Mikey Monahan immediately behind him. So let's see how Kevin Miller can withstand this pressure from Mikey. Mikey's all over the back of him. And Mikey taking a look on the inside. Ooh, that was close. Had a look, but thought better of it. Mikey looks like he's got a little bit of damage to that right front clip.
Yeah, Mike Monahan's definitely going to want to make hay in that 2nd sector, which we just saw him roll through here. I see an Audi off on the side of the track, Al. Not sure who that was.
Meanwhile, up front, Chris Moses under a tremendous amount of pressure from White for that 1st spot. So White looks like he's content with just following Moses around for these first few laps. Not doing anything over aggressive to get by.
No, Alex White will likely keep it pretty clean now. I think he knows that our temperatures have crept up here quite a bit, and I think he knows he's going to have to preserve those tires on that Gumpert with the weight here, Al. So I think that Alex White's going to play more of a waiting game than Chris Moses.
So Alex Scott now feeling the heat from Kevin Miller. Alex Scott in the top 10. David Pools moved up to P9.
Yeah, quick update, Alex Scott did try to make a move on David Poole in the hairpin. He lost some speed and caused him to fall under a little bit of pressure to Kevin Miller.
Ooh, Scott running a little bit wide there in turn 7.
Yeah, Alex has not had a lot of experience running up here toward the sharp end of the grid. Maybe a little bit of nerves are plaguing him at the moment. I think he'll get it figured out, and I believe that he does have pace on David Poole overall. So, see what he can manage to do here.
Ooh, we have a Mercedes into the pit. That's Lou Mascarelli missing his front clip. Ken Rodriguez back in 35th. So Liquid Lou going in for some service.
Early service for Lou. That's not going to help his car.
On board now with Monroy as he's trying to make his way past. As Monroy tries to make his way past Palacio here for that third spot.
Yeah, a lot of action around on the track. I'm seeing these guys really sliding some of these rear ends around as they try to maximize the lack of downforce around this track, gain speed, but the track temperatures are going up, and that's going to drive some extra heat into those tires. These guys are going to have to be careful here. They want those tires to last.
One person in particular, we're on board with points leader currently, Andres Prieto, running at P8, but he trying to chase down Aaron Parsons in that Pirelli shot. Ford. Pirelli should be okay in these temps. Alex Scott in that jet. He may suffer a bit running on those Dunlops. Ooh! Oh! As I noticed, we got David Poole. Looks like Mikey Monahan's off.
Boy, I just switched off that action, Al, to look a bit through the field, and that was tight racing, and boy, it looks like it might have come to blows, Al.
We have a tire, we got parts everywhere. Looks like Mikey Monahan got the worst of that one.
Boy, tough break for those guys, Chow Mein Moto in particular.
Ooh, that is devastating for their hopes right now. I'm not sure, I just caught the end of it. David Poole was turned around, and it was a yard sale there in turn 1.
Yeah, indeed, and while that action's going on, we have some frenetic action going on here over the 5th position. So we have multiple positions going side by side here for some of these top spots. So action all over the track.
Yes, it's an Audi train chasing it. Roman and Parsons. Looks like he lost a position to Andres. So like the Audis are coming up to form here in this one as Uran makes the move on Roman for that 6th spot. Roman's gonna lose another position to Monroy, and may lose one now here to Prieto as Roman tries to protect that inside line. Prieto's most likely going to have a look here. Oh, thought better of it.
Yeah,
Roman runs a bit wide. Oh! And he gives it up. But Roman looks like he might be struggling.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's struggling with front grip on that Viper here already. Track temperature now at 108 degrees Fahrenheit, and I suspect that that's hurting him. Andres as well, you saw him back off. I think he's having rear end troubles on entry. So all these guys, I suspect, are coming under a little bit of fire with their, as we see now, pass for the lead. Alex White, final corner.
Oh, so White did have that position momentarily, but just not enough legs to get past Moses down the straight.
Yeah, very interesting, and I've been keeping an eyeball on that action up front, and I was going to say Chris Moses, I think, is really playing it conservatively here, trying to make those tires last, but I'm not so sure now. I'm beginning to have my doubts.
I'll tell you what, got to give Palacio a lot of credit. He hasn't lost much time to these guys out front. It's a couple seconds back.
Yeah, indeed, and really. Yeah, and has made up ground on 4th place Marty Urin. Of course, those guys have been in a pitched battle over that 4th position, so that no doubt is helping his cause.
Taking a look further back, Kevin Miller now up to P9. He's got Ian Jolicoeur taking a look on the inside. Kevin doing an admirable job here in that Viper. That Viper is just so tough to get around.
Yeah, indeed, and that could end up being very frustrating around this place. If you just can't quite get off the corners fast enough with that big power car. Of course, Ian's car is no slouch either, but the Viper makes that huge power down the straights, just makes it so tough.
I should mention, Kevin Miller's not far off that battle for that 5th spot, so guys can work together. They can make some headway and pick up some ground on those guys up ahead, battling for position.
Yeah, indeed, and that battle has not slacked off at all as they continue to go too wide into these corners, looking for the advantage.
As Monroy gives the position up to his teammate for the 5th spot. So team orders in effect there, it looks like, for Team Columbia. Espreito now going to work on Marty Uren for that 4th spot.
Yeah, Marty Uren has enjoyed a little bit of a break as the battle has raged behind him, but now I think will fall under pressure once again. Andres Prieto looks like he has worked into the race groove a little bit after a somewhat disappointing qualifying effort, but finding good groove here in the race in that Audi.
Tony Atkins on the broadcast watching tonight. Welcome, Tony. Tony, the creator, designed the NAGP t-shirt, did a wonderful job, as well as the rest of the artwork for the site. And it's tremendous work. So meanwhile, as Roman looks like he's lost a little bit of touch with these guys up ahead, and Parsons as well, trying to hang on to the back of, as Andres runs a little wide, his teammate's going to tuck behind him and give way. A little further back, Greg Myers lost a bit of ground to Kevin Miller, so Miller continues to look good.
Yeah, well, that's saying something. Yeah, that's saying something. To be able to hold off a charging Ian Jolicoeur, we know what kind of speed he has to stay calm under pressure and then pull a bit of the gap. Good job, Kevin.
So Jolicoeur must have made a mistake, I suspect, as he's fallen back. He's got some damage. Ooh, we got Gup Douglas off, and David Poole missing his rear end now. I know he was caught up in that Mikey Monahan incident. So the hits just keep on coming for 05 Motorsports.
Yeah, bummer. David Rowley also having some problems. I don't know who was involved in that.
Jared Keane now missing his front clip. So we got all kinds of shenanigans going on back here. Not sure what. So Keane's falling. He's parked it. He's done. So tough break for Keane. Not sure if he got caught up with Gup Douglas and David Poole, but those guys. A tough night ahead. Oh, it looks like Alex White now has fallen back to P3. Sorry, so much action going on. And it looks like White's got some damage to the right front of his Gumpert as Esteban Palacio now taking over that second spot.
You know, I don't have any doubt that these guys are really starting to struggle with their tires, Al, and I think that it's catching some of them out. I'm looking at some of the timing and scoring and some of these lap-to-lap times, and they're kind of all over the map, which would suggest that they're getting caught out here on one corner or another and losing time on these tires. I think that they're just over-pushing them a little bit, and if Chris Moses is running this super conservative strategy, then it's definitely the way to go here tonight.
So Chris Moses with a 4-second gap over Palacio and White. Taking a look further back, Marty still running that fourth spot. As Monroy's lost now position to Roman. So these guys continue to go back and forth. Miller up to 9th. Myers 10th. Rodrigo Triana now running in P11th in the Lambo. So good showing tonight for Rodrigo. Joe LaCour back in 12th. Christian Hamilton up to P13. Marco Conti in the Aston running where he qualified in 14th. David Poole, I believe he's still running around without his rear. Yep, he's running at P15. So doesn't look like that's affecting his pace all that much in the points. Not too pretty to look at, but Alex Scott, after his great qualifying performance, has dipped back to P16. Felipe Triana, 17th. Brian Mongrain, after falling back to P40, is up to 18th and a couple positions out of the points. So a great run for Mongrain, despite his first lap turmoil. John Houston and Thomas Schubeck going at it for that 19th spot. Right along with Schubeck as he tries to chase down that Ford. Schubeck with a little bit of front end nose damage to that Viper, no doubt affecting his downforce. Johnny Lugnuts, looks like someone took the sledgehammer to that Mercedes, currently in P21. Brian Story running around in 22nd in the Viper. Kevin Miller's teammate. Montgomery Jr. running around in 23rd in the Moser, getting chased down by Wathen. Wilkinson, oh, we got a huge battle here for this 25th spot. McIntyre, Phil Hooks, and Randy Chenoweth. It's right along with these guys as Phil takes a look on the inside of Johnny Mack and he gets the pass done. So Phil now going to work on Dan Wilkinson. Looks like he's going to make it stick. That Lambo is flying for Phil. Phil taking a look on the inside and gets it done. So nice job by Phil. As Wilkinson and his teammate Chenoweth running 26th and 27th. As McIntyre running the Nissan tonight. Ooh, looks like Phil's gone off. Oh, maybe not. I believe that was Hamilton. Sorry. Chris Jackson, 29th. Jack Ivey. Jack, our Thursday night broadcaster, currently in P30. Have to serve a no call for this race here tonight. Chuck Carter, 31st. Dave Rowley in the pit lane. Imagine that's some early service for Rowley. Taking a look at the timing. About 20 some odd minutes into this first stint.
Yeah, that's a real possibility, Al. I think that it's going to come down to when... Oh, Andres Prieto, no, sorry, I was watching him, nearly went off. I think it's going to come down to maximizing the use of your tires and coming in at the right point so you don't lose too much time out on track, but you don't kill yourself here in the second part of this race on the worn tires either.
So Lou takes it a little wide there as he's about to get lapped by Moses, but Lou running in 33rd, and Ken Rodriguez now in 34th. His first appearance here in GT2 here at NAGP, so nice to see Ken on board. But Ken, he's got a train of cars coming up on him, so hopefully they get by okay.
Well, this will be a good test for Ken. I was going to say, hey, he's done a great job. You know, he's currently the last of the runners, but he's still running now and keeping it clean. And Mosler looks pretty tidy. So good job, Ken Rodriguez. Good.
Alex White has made the pass on Palacio, but Palacio still hanging on to the back of White in third. Marty Uren now still holding off Andres Prieto for that fourth spot. Monroy continues to run in seventh. We'll jump back on board with this battle here.
Yeah, the timing of those that big battle we saw over that fourth place has been yo-yoing a little bit, but by and large these guys have maintained their pace relative to each other, so far from over that contested fourth position in this race.
Current track temp 108 degrees, 88 degree Fahrenheit, ambient temp.
It's been holding steady. I've been watching the skies. The skies also have been remaining pretty consistent, so no weather moving in yet.
So Ken doing a great job getting out of the way of the front runners here, so nice job by him. Nice to see.
Yeah, and did it pretty smartly too. It can be difficult sometimes for these newcomers to get a little on edge around traffic and cause themselves damage as well. So, but no damage done there for Ken.
Joe LaCour unable to make any headway here on Greg Myers, who's running in the top 10, the final in the 10th spot. So, although applying quite a bit of pressure on Myers for that position. They have a run on him here going into turn 4. I'm sorry, 3.
Yeah, Gregory Myers, of course, may not have the fastest lap-to-lap pace of some of our front runners week to week. However, knows how to position his car very well to defend a pass, and usually does it quite cleanly as well. So Gregory Myers always a tough pass, always a consistent runner.
Yes. So it looks like David Rowley, who's currently lapped down, found himself off and in between Miller and Myers. Triana still hanging on to this battle as well. He's doing a great job not losing touch with these guys.
Yeah, putting in a fine effort here. Don't get the opportunity to talk about Rodrigo up there in the 12th position often, so it's good to see.
Ooh, as Ian with a bit of a lurch. Go ahead.
Sorry, I should think that pit stops be coming pretty quickly for these guys coming up, and David Poole indeed has checked in. Of course, he had some of that damage, so maybe necessitating a bit of an early stop for him, but these guys will be coming in here before too long.
Christian Hamilton with a bit of a bobble is giving up that 13th spot, to Marco Connie. As one of the Mustangs is off. So Hamilton having a little trouble here tonight. Now Mongray now into the points, running 16th. And coming up on Alex Scott behind the wheel of that. Scott piloting that Jag.
Yeah, Alex Scott, unfortunately we didn't see the kind of trouble he got into after showing that great opening pace, but still hanging around in a good spot and opportunity to move well up into the field here with just picking up a couple spots will move him up quickly.
Felipe Triana, just one spot out of the points, currently in 17th. But going back to Mongrain, I mean, you gotta give that guy a lot of credit for the drive he's put in so far to come back from the 40th position to be in P16 as we run now. It's a great drive.
Yeah, showing great pace and great racecraft here, coming off that podium last week and really keeping cool under pressure here. So it's been a great couple weeks for Brian Mongrain, and he's another guy that can really move up here through benefit of pit stops.
So it looks like we got some more debris on track, and did not see where that debris came from. Ooh, the story has a
Thomas
moment.
Schubeck. Thomas Schubeck into the pits from 18.
So McIntyre feeling the heat from John Walton for that 22nd position. McIntyre's going to hang on to it. On board with Walton. While we watch this battle, I want to remind you guys, round 4 of GT1 will coming to you Thursday night from the Nürburgring, the GP layout. Jack Ivey will be broadcasting that event, I believe.
Track always makes for some great action, and always a big chance for weather around there as well, so always surprises in store at the Nürburgring for sure.
Brad Maris leading the points in GT1, the Drivers' Championship, and Anger Racing putting a stranglehold on the Team Championship. You feeling the pressure yet, Brad?
It's a little too early in the season yet, Al, to be feeling too much pressure, so we got a ways to go yet, and we'll just keep our heads down for now and go about our work and see how we end up here toward the end.
Joe LaCour in the pit lane, so stops starting to begin here. So Schubeck rejoins in P30 after his service. So Chris Moses elects to stay out.
Sorry, Al. Yeah, quick update. Alex White has made some ground back up on Chris Moses. I noticed Esteban Palacio now just starting to slip off of that leader's pace a little bit, so not quite able to hold those lap times of the front runners. Aaron Parsons in.
As you mentioned that, Marty Urin has, however, made up some ground on Esteban, so he's got him in sight just a few seconds back of Palacio. So looks like the Audi of Marty and Andres performing quite well here late.
And I should think that the Audis would hold on to their tires a little bit better than the Corvette here with these types of track temperatures and the nature of the track.
So Andre gets by, I believe that's Lou in the Mercedes.
Brian Mongrain into the pits out.
Keep an eye on Moses here, see if he decides to jump into the pit lane.
Boy, these are critical stops coming up for these guys. The times are so tight, particularly in that 4th through 10th position. These guys will really be looking for some advantage and the right tire call here on the timing.
Moses into the pits.
So,
White into the pits. Palacio's going to take over the lead.
Yeah, it should also be noted as well that a little bit of time can be gained, taking some chances on entry to that pit lane, though. The very dicey proposition.
Marty Urin elects to stay out, as does Roman. Monroy into the pits. Preto in. So some of these guys are sharing pit bays, so they would have coordinated their stops prior.
Yeah, very good point, Al. This you can lose a lot of time out on track with these worn tires now relative to the guys that come in for fresh ones. So if you get caught
White's
out,
away, White's away. He's going to get out in front of Moses. So White with a great stop gets out ahead of Chris Moses in the pit cycle.
Boy, didn't see that one coming, Al. And Alex White sure showed a better pace than Chris Moses toward the end of that first stint.
It's a really good stop by White. And he comes out a couple seconds ahead of Moses. So
a very interesting turn of events.
So Andres comes out. We'll have to see.
Esteban Palacio, our leader, stays out here for another lap. I'm hoping he's going to come in here soon, or he's going to fall into the clutch.
As is Marty and Roman into the pits as well.
Looking at the wrong Corvette, Al.
So we'll see if Andres was able to make up any time on Marty Uren, who's now in the pits. And on Palacio. Triana in the pits, Felipe Triana. As White and Moses go by. Marty Uren is away. Roman with a great stop. Ooh. Who's going to flinch? Looks like it's going to have to be Roman. He's going to tuck in behind. Ooh, and they both get out ahead of Prieto. Andres has heat in the tire, so he may be able to get a run on Roman. He's gonna have a look. Side by side. Ooh, and Prieto gets it done. Great pass.
Yeah, and great patience by both those drivers, both NAGP veterans, and it's just what you'd like to see.
So there's no doubt. Andres had the advantage there. He had that extra lap, gave him time to heat the tires up and make that move on Roman. However, Marty with a great stop gets out, maintains that lead over Prieto for what is fourth on track.
Yeah, the real winner in that rotation, it has to be said, is most likely Rich Roman, who did pick up some ground there, but certainly not as much as he'd like. Kevin Miller now into the pits, pitting from the third position on track.
So Palacio maintains his spot. Oh, Parsons looks to be the loser after that pit cycle, as he lost quite a bit of time to those guys he was battling with earlier.
Yeah, at least a couple seconds there anyway, so a rare flinch perhaps from Aaron Parsons, usually the pit stop meister.
McIntyre currently 13th. I believe he is yet to pit. Randy Chenoweth and Dan Wilkinson both will be forced to pit soon. Kevin Miller rejoins with 16th on track, and with Ian Jolicoeur all over the back of him, as Jolicoeur taking a look.
Yeah, and we saw that battle raging.
Oh, and he gets it done. So nice pass by Ian.
Yeah, Ian's going to be very happy to get by quickly. So he's not. He doesn't have a repeat of the first stint. Marco Conti now comes in from the third position on track.
So it looks like Ian took advantage of a little bit of a bobble there from Miller to get by. So that's what it was going to take for him to get by, as now Miller's coming under attack from David Poole.
So toward the front, two drivers yet to stop, Gregory Myers and Alex Scott, I think, along with Daniel Wilkerson, who now comes in, and I think our pit stop rotation will be about complete.
As we ride along with Greg, we'll have to see if he decides to come in this lap. Nope, he's going to stay out. Greg will probably run it as long as he can.
Yeah, well, that Corvette certainly gets good fuel mileage, so he may have yet a few laps in hand. I'm keeping an eye on our virtual leaders here, Alex White and Chris Moses. Chris Moses has reeled back a little bit of time on Alex White, clawed back within a second and a half or so. So Chris Moses doing what he can. The question is, will the tires hold up? Very interesting. I think all these guys are really pushing hard here early in this second stint, trying to gain the advantage, and I'm wondering who's going to be hurt later on toward the end of this race.
Blankley with a big lurch. He exited turn one. That, as you mentioned earlier, the rumble strips there, that can be very tricky if you run wide there in turn one, especially if your car's set up low.
Yeah, and some cars will be affected by that more than others, for sure.
Looks like we have a Mercedes turned around. Still stuck in an awkward position there. Let's hope he gets out all right. Oh, looks like he's underway. So David Pools made the pass on Kevin Miller. So Kevin's dropped another position. Mongrain now up to P15. Thomas Schubeck in the points. Great to see Tommy in the points in that Dodge.
Thomas has fought hard. He got knocked back or something happened there. Was running 23rd at one point, but has made a nice fight back up to in the points, like you say.
He's had a couple tough races here, but showing some good pace tonight. Marco Conti's dropped back to P17 after his pit stop. You wonder if Marco watches. Marco stayed out a bit late, didn't he? I don't recall, but
Marco did stay out a little later.
Yeah. See, I
tell you one guy I'm just watching exiting the pits just now. Sorry, Al. Alex Scott stayed out a long time. Has just come in and completed service. Boy, it seemed to really work out for him. I'm wondering if he took enough fuel. Alex Scott running 15th prior to the pit stop rotation. Now in the top 10. Didn't lose near as much time as he thought. I'm wondering maybe if he didn't take tires on that pit stop. So
well, that would be a interesting strategy if he decided to double stint those tires.
Yeah, indeed, and we see interesting strategies sometimes from some of our NAGP newcomers. I was thinking he might have been making a mistake staying out as long as he has. So I was keeping an eye on him, and to come out in 10th kind of raises yet another eyebrow here, Al.
So checking the timing and scoring, that gap between Moses and White is about a second.
Oh, Alex Scott! I was on him. He has hit the inside barrier on the last turn. I think has parked it out.
Oh, he has parked it.
Oh, tough break for Alex Scott, running so well here tonight.
Well, we mentioned it at the start of the broadcast. It's something get a little ambitious trying to catch up to somebody and just take a little too much of that inside curve, and it can be a horror show.
Yeah, meanwhile, Chris Moses continues to take out some ground on Alex White, now running nearly within a second of our leader, Alex White. Gregory Myers yet to pit. Wow, and turning really consistent laps. Last 5 laps for Gregory Myers, all in the 31.6 range. Extremely consistent laps.
Well, if any of you are watching out there wondering what the rules are here in terms of pitting, he would be required to make a pit stop, regardless if the car, which I don't think it can go the distance, but so Moses now continues to close the gap on White.
Yeah, and I don't think that Alex White's pace has dropped off. Let me check the lap times. Well, it might have a little bit. I think this is more of a Chris Moses aggressive drive here. I really think he was playing it a little bit conservatively there in the first stint, but has turned up the wick here. Ooh, John McIntyre in for service. I believe that this is his first stop,
yeah,
so he stayed out there quite a way.
So White coming up on some lap traffic.
Yeah, I'll give you another quick update as you watch that. Marty Uren there in 5th place is continuing to pick up ground on Esteban Palacio as well for 4th. Virtual podium spot there is Marty Uren looking for.
So yeah, that gap has quickly shrunk that Palacio had, and going to be feeling the heat shortly.
Yes, from several drivers.
Meanwhile, Roman, Monroy has a giant lag spike. Ooh, he's been suffering with a bit of that issue recently, so hopefully Juan can get that straightened out.
Yeah, that would be good, as Chris Moses now has well and truly latched onto the back of Alex White here and will be looking to make a move shortly for the lead.
Ooh, White with a bit of a mistake. And you mentioned, Moses all over the back of White. White's dynamite through this final sector. If Moses can tuck up behind him here. That Ford's got more legs down the straight. Ooh, one of the Mustangs is off. Ooh, White nearly gets a piece of that gravel. Moses taking a look on the inside. Ooh, it looks like he's going to take him. So with relative ease, Moses makes the pass. White's going to try and counter here, but just not going to be able to get it done. It doesn't look like.
Yeah, I think Chris really has pushed a little extra hard. I think Alex White has done what he can as well. So I'm not sure that this battle is quite over yet, Al. It'll be interesting to see in our closing laps here, as we are now working lap 28 of the scheduled 39.
So you were right, Alex Scott. He mentioned that he did double stint tires. So what you suspected was true.
Yeah, well, and it might not be a bad strategy. I have seen a couple other guys as well go for that double stint on the tires. Boy, that temperature continues to rise. This track is not great on tires, so a gutsy call there. You know, I can't fault the guy for taking a chance. Gregory Myers now does pit from the lead.
Well, that's too bad. Let's see if Greg decides to do a quick stop here and double stint, but Yeah, it's too bad he crashed out, because it would have been interesting to see how he was able to finish with double stint nose tires. So there you have it. Looks like Greg, fuel only.
Yeah, not too surprising at this point of the race. You know, if you do give up a bunch of ground, you don't have too many more laps to survive till the end. So a good strategy move. Greg was in 10th at that pit stop rotation, so let's see if he can hold on to an extra position or two from that spot.
So Greg will rejoin in P8 ahead of his GT1 teammate Aaron Parsons, who Parsons has really slipped back here.
Yeah, indeed, and a little surprising to see, though. Those temperatures do continue to go up. Now 113 degrees Fahrenheit on track.
I'll tell you what, this battle between Roman and Monroy has been pretty much going on the entire night. Monroy just unable to get around Roman.
Yeah, a real challenge here at this track. I'll never forget Curtis Chandler and the Viper with myself in the MC12 and the GT1 class around here, and just about caused me to pull every strand of hair out but one or two in the course of that race.
So Moses coming up on some lap traffic. He's got white all over the back. So after getting past White, unable to extend that lead. Ooh, as White runs wide. Montgomery lets him by.
Oh, I think Alex White. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if Moses does go on to win this race, it's going to be a well-earned win for sure, because he's under some intense pressure from White.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Alex White, I was going to mention, was having some trouble. I think he might have gotten refocused a little bit, having a car in front of him now. Yeah. So, I'm not sure. It might have been Alex White, not quite having the groove after stops there as well as it would like. But I think he'll get refocused now with Chris Moses out in front, and it's going to be a battle to the end, I suspect, for these two.
So this battle for the final podium position is getting tight as well, as Marty now about to latch on to the back of Palacio. And Prieto not far behind.
Yeah, as soon as they do, Andres Prieto will definitely come up to join that battle as well. And I've been looking at Thomas Schubeck here and following his progress, now up to 14th. So still a good run continuing for Thomas Schubeck. Brian Mongrain right in front there in 13th. We saw his troubles early, so nice run up for Brian as well.
Joe LaCour now up into the top 10. Poole running 11th. Kevin Miller in 12th. And you're right, Mongrain now running 13th with Schubeck a solid 14th spot. Marco Carney trying to catch up to the back of Schubeck. Carney in that Aston. And John Houston also in the final points-paying position, currently in P16. Let's take a look further back. Hamilton 17th. Johnny McIntyre in 18th. Montgomery Jr. running 19th. Johnny Lugnut's in P20. Brian Story 21st. Rodrigo Triano, who had a great first stint, not sure if he had trouble in the pit lane or what, has now fallen way back to 22nd. Wathen running in 23rd. Dan Wilkerson 24th. Jack Ivey currently in 25th. Phil Hooks in the 26th spot. Chris Jackson, 27th. David Rowley way back in 28th. Randy Chenoweth, 29th. Felipe Triana in 30th. Chuck Carter, 31st. Lou Mascarelli, 32nd. And Ken Rodriguez. Ken is in the pit lane, so Ken out of the race.
Tough break for Ken. We do have some news and notes at the front, Al. Marty Uren pushing hard there in turn 5. Threw the car off track, got stuck in the sand. Got back on track, promptly spun the rear tires up again, threw it off track again, and Marty Uren, his charge late for Esteban Palacio, has ended.
Wow, Marty is way back now, P11th, so he lost quite a bit of time there. Apologize for not catching that. But Marty's got David Poole up ahead, so he's got some work cut out for him.
Yeah, Marty losing it there in turn 5 was the definition of snap oversteer.
So Prieto now with his eyes set on Palacio.
Yeah, it certainly gives some breathing room to Esteban, so hopefully he'll be able to maintain a gap to Andres to finish off this podium.
We got about 9 minutes left to go. Currently working lap 32. Apologize, 34. So 5 laps to go. So unless Palacio makes some type of mistake, I don't believe there's enough time for Andre to catch up.
Well, you can't put anything past Andres Prieto, but yeah, he looks safe for now anyway. A guy, speaking of making mistakes, Alex White apparently has made one, as he has now slipped 3 seconds off of Chris Moses' bumper, so some breathing room for Chris Moses as well here late in this race.
So Chris getting the breathing room he needed.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen a few bobbles from Alex White here, no doubt struggling a bit on the tires and with the weight, both in the first and second stint here. So, boy, those seconds would have maybe put this race away for Alex White. Just a couple bobbles, and that's all it takes.
Meanwhile, Rich Roman continues to lead Juan Monroy in 5th. With some lap traffic approaching. Monroy may have a run on Roman here, heading into 1. Monroy's going to have a look. Ooh, and Monroy finally gets... Oh, and he loops it! Oh, a little too heavy on the throttle coming out of 1. And got
he was
the
seeing
car.
that clean track.
Yep.
He was going finally.
And that opened the door for Greg Myers to take that 6th spot.
I was just going to mention Greg Myers before we saw that action take place. Greg Myers has continued to stay out of Aaron Parsons, though, now falling under pressure. Gregory Myers at the late pit stop, perhaps working out for him. Remember, it was here last race with Gregory Myers and Aaron Parsons, then teammates. Gregory Myers making that late pass, which actually ultimately cost Aaron Parsons that championship. So, so the same position here now, not teammates. Definitely no team orders here.
Absolutely not. That was a great win for Greg in the Audi back in season 15. So let's see if Greg can hang on to that spot. With worn tires, running the same set he started with. So, well, Monroy continues to struggle after having that spin, so he's lost even more time to Parsons.
You know, I was really wondering about some of these guys and their early pace in this stint here. I think that some of that tire wear is catching them out.
Got about a couple laps left to go here. And now Roman coming under pressure from Greg Myers as this battle for 5th. Ooh, as Greg nearly spins the car. Having a hard time getting the power down in that vet.
Yeah, indeed, and I have another quick update here. Kevin Miller was running 13th, but now has jumped into the pit lane. So Kevin Miller is going to drop out of the points here late in this race. A real disappointment after that strong early pace.
You got to wonder if Roman, after Monroy had his slip up, dialed it back a little bit, not realizing that Greg was hot on his heels as well, so now Roman's back on it.
It's a possibility, but I don't think so, Al. I think this is pure Roman pace here. I don't know if he's having some understeer issues with that Viper. It's a definite possibility, particularly with the heat. But I think you're seeing what Rich has got there at the moment.
See if Aaron has a look on the inside of Greg. He does not. Just not close enough.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be a battle to the end, and Juan Monroy is quickly going to jump into this battle for 5th place here in these closing couple laps.
Poole now coming under pressure from Marty. Marty's caught up to Poole, but I'm sure he's going to have enough time to get that pass done. Mongrain running 12th. Conti has gotten past Schubeck for 13th and Schubeck in 14th. Houston now up to 15th. And Christian Hamilton, last car in the points. Tightest battle on track. This is Parsons and Greg Myers, as Myers has a bit of a bobble. Let's see if Parsons takes a look on the inside. And he gets it done.
Yeah, and hard to say if we have 1 or 2 laps left here, if he's going to have enough time.
Monroy taking a look on the inside. Monroy looks like he's going to get the pass done on Myers. Oh, what a pass by Monroy. Great job. Now Monroy might have enough time to reel Parsons in. Myers having a look on the outside.
Yeah, well, still in all, it was a good strategy decision here by Gregory Myers. He held pretty decent pace on those worn tires in the first stint, and so was able to not swap them out, and I think he'll pick up a couple of positions as a result.
Should be the final lap of the race. Chris Moses leading the way here. 1 to go. Palacio still hanging on to that 3rd spot. Monroy desperate to get past Parsons.
Yeah, these are important points for these guys. Team Columbia would really like to solidify that point lead with Chow Mein Moto not having as many points as they'd like, with Mike Monahan going out early.
Ooh, Parsons locks him up going into 1. I'm sorry, 2.
Boy, you're going to come right down to it for these guys.
It is coming down to the wire. Monroy having a look. Oh, it looks like he's going to get it done. Wow. Let's see if he can hang on to it. No, Parsons taking a look on the inside. So what a pass by Monroy. Chris Moses with the win. White second. Palacios going to take that third spot. Prato fourth. Roman should hang on to fifth with the 1 corner to go. Monroy with the dynamite pass on the last lap on Parsons. Going to take sixth. Parsons seventh. Myers eighth. Joe LaCour is going to finish ninth. Oh, he just gave up the position of pole, so Marty Uren's gonna. Oh, Uren's out of gas. He's out of gas. Loses the position to Mongrain. He's rolling across the line in 12th.
Oh.
Wow. So Connie's gonna take 13th. Schubeck 14th. Great run by Schubeck. John Houston 15th. And that's going to do it. That's your last car on the lead lap. So, what a finish here tonight.
Yeah, very interesting race all the way through. Chris Moses, of course, getting the job done. It was a little nip and tuck with Alex White again. Alex cost himself about 5 or 6 seconds through the just 2 small bobbles out there on track, and that was the difference. So a good job, Chris Moses, and all our runners here tonight that was able to finish this thing off.
So we welcome my race winner here tonight, Chris Moses. Congratulations on the win. Looked like
thank you guys. Thanks, Al.
Looked like a very hard-earned victory there up until the last few laps when White lost some ground to you. But up until that point, what was your thought process there?
Oh, just trying to keep those rear tires from overheating was the biggest thing. It was really hot out there, so I took some pressure out in the first stop and helped a bit. But towards the end of the race, it was pretty squirrely. I kind of feel bad. I ran a little wide there coming in the last corner, and it was one of those, all right, get back on the groove before Alex gets here, and then he was about there, so I tried to get back out of the way, and he ended up getting crossed up. So I thought about waiting, but I was like, it's racing.
Well, yeah, great win. Congratulations there for finishing that one off, Chris. I was kind of a little curious watching that battle up front in the first stint there, and was wondering if maybe you were going pretty conservative there, trying to protect those rear tires in the first stint to start the race.
I was, matter of fact, and that was my primary goal, was to try to save the rears, because the rears were just getting cooked off pretty bad. But man, I was shocked how much Alex ended up beating me out of the pits by. So, but at first I thought he double stinted because I ran him down pretty quick. So I don't know if he really cut it close on fuel or what he did exactly, but he didn't have much pace to start the second stint.
Well, he did a tremendous job making up that ground he gained in the pit stop. So congratulations on a great win. And how do you think the car is gonna be next week at Indianapolis with that weight?
The tires are going to be a big issue. The car is built really well for Indy, but I'm hoping for really cold weather. Try to protect the tires as best I can. But it's going to be hard for everybody at Indy to protect the tires around the banking. So it's going to be a slip and slide show at the end of each stint. So it's going to be really interesting.
Well, congratulations again, Chris, and nice job tonight, and good luck next week at Indy.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate the hard work.
Thank you. All right, well, there you have it, Brad. Chris Moses wins tonight. Alex White with a second-place finish, and Esteban Palacio, well, pretty quiet night for him for the most part. but still solid third place finish for him.
Yeah, well, that's the type of quiet you like, really, to basically have a more or less trouble-free race and finish in the podium. Again, Chow Mein Moto is only going to collect points from Esteban Palacio here tonight, so Team Columbia advantage there. However, Chris Moses will pick up points on Andres Prieto for our single driver championship, so that battle's going to tighten up as well.
Well, thanks again, Brad, for joining me tonight, and want to invite everybody to tune in on Thursday night for round 4 of GT1 series action from the Nürburgring GT layout. That'll start at 9 o'clock. Jack Ivy's your broadcaster, and next week we'll be back for round 5 from Indianapolis here on NAGP TV. So for Brad and myself, thanks everybody who watched, and hopefully we'll see you next week.